Pick the Nintendo Shack and pray. Frederick from Fire Emblem Awakening says, yo.
Greetings, Koopalings, and welcome back to the Nintendo Shack. I'm welcoming you here on behalf of Rebecca, and our names just don't matter as much, so let's get on with the show and tell you that tonight we're talking all about the Pokemon DLC and EA games finally coming to the Nintendo Switch. But before we do, let us say thanks to those that keep the boat afloat over at patreon.com/PSVG. So thank you, Callow, Barry Cathcart, Josh Borboni, Chris McElfresh, Devin Tyus, Kyle Heyman, Michael Masick, Zach Bradshaw, Nick Fahaber, and Paul Calicote. What's up, dudes? Dudes! What's going on?
Hi.
How are you?
Yeah, just chilling.
Doing good?
Can't complain.
Very good. Very good.
I'm doing good.
All good over here.
We got lots of news. Pokemon
Yeah.
Presents, Pokemon DLC, all the Pokemons, all the Pokemans. It's a good time
It's a
to
good
go.
year to be a. I was just gonna say it's a good year to be a Pokemon fan.
Very tuned. Let's get into what we're doing, like we do each and every week. Let's start with you, Rebecca. What are you up to?
I have been playing Pokemon. The DLC has gotten me back into it a little bit. I played it a little bit leading up to the DLC just to get back into it. I didn't really start diving into the DLC until last night and today. And I don't know. I'm feeling a little bit lukewarm about it.
Ooh.
I think the story is not that. I mean, I don't know. Johnny, you're giving me a look.
I'm not giving you a
I
look.
feel like
Something just happened to my entire stream,
Oh,
and I don't know what happened. The
Okay.
entire thing just went bananas. So
should we pause?
Nope. You keep talking.
Oh, right.
Donnie will fix it.
I feel like so far the DLC has just been fetch quests.
Mm-hmm.
Garrett, have you played it at all? I know you're not.
I mean, I'm in right where I left off
Okay.
back in February,
I
so
didn't know if you jumped back into it or not for the DLC.
I don't have time. I got Xenoblade in my mind.
I understand.
We're okay.
Sounds good.
It went. That was nuts. That was crazy. I don't know what happened. My entire window. I didn't touch anything. My entire window went poof, and it was like super big. And I was just going to reframe it, but I couldn't. I literally couldn't. And then it snapped back into place. So
We're good.
Sorry.
Oh, that
I'm
works
playing the Pokemon DLC, Rebecca.
Okay, so I feel like so far it's just been, maybe it changes because I'm only about, I think, halfway through it. But so far it's just been kind of fetch quests. The highlights for me have definitely been Cub Fu. He's adorable. I love him. The Pokemon following behind you has been, like, that was a huge surprise. They kind of hid that from everyone. They definitely could have used that, I think, as a feature, and people would have gone bananas
It was
about
awesome
it.
in Let's Go. Especially you can ride and fly and all that stuff. It was super cool.
I just remember everybody was saying, like, it's impossible for them to make following models for 800 Pokemon. It's never going to happen. They can't do it. Well, they did it. I don't even mind that it's restricted just to the DLC area. That's fine with me. Honestly, for me, like, I think that the second half of the DLC is going to be the better part of it. So, I mean, I don't know. I think the wild area is so much better than the wild area in the first, in the base part of the game. It's almost like what the wild area should have been.
Have you done the towers already?
No, I haven't.
Okay, neither.
I've only gotten up to the point where I get Cub Fu and show him around to the different views.
We're doing the same thing.
Which I think is like kind of like a little. It's meant to help you explore the wild area, and like get acquainted with it. I think. I don't know. I mean, maybe my opinion of it will change as I go through it more. But I have just been enjoying going through the wild area, finding all the little Digletts.
Yep.
And seeing all the new Pokemon.
Okay. I've been enjoying it, but it's pretty selfish reason. I think most people understand when they know it's just got all my favorite Pokemon in it, and that's all that matters. All the Pokemon that I like to catch and I like to see are there. seeing Executor, I got Cubone, I got Marowak, I caught Starmie, I caught Golduck, I caught a Poliwrath. I'm like
first gen Pokemon.
I'm like, oh my god, this is the best thing ever. That's really all it takes. I'm just kind of a mark for what I like. So,
that's okay. They've also, I think they're adding a lot of quality of life things. I heard that there's like an easier way to like train your Pokemon competitively. There's like that robot thing that you can put items into, and it gives you better items. Cramomatic, yeah. Which I haven't really done a whole lot of stuff with that yet, but
who cares?
I'm just, enjoying exploring the wild area and seeing all of the old/new Pokemon and having my Pokemon follow me.
The wild area is way better, I think. It seems
Why
more,
is it way better?
So it's more open and expansive and varied. So like the first area was like a giant field with like maybe a little lake and like a little dust bowl. But this has like multiple caves and a forest, and you can just go out in the ocean, and there are islands out there that you can find. Oh. And there's a lot of what do you call them? The beams of light, the tunnels that you fight.
The raid dens.
Yeah, the dens. That's right. Yeah, there's a bunch of them. They're everywhere, so you can constantly just go around and fight. And that's really all I've been doing, just kind of walking around, fighting, catching the folks.
It feels like a more natural wild area. In the first wild area, it's like you keep walking, and then all of a sudden there's like a desert out of nowhere.
Yeah.
With this one, it feels a little bit more natural. Like the areas are more broken up, I think, in a natural way.
It'd be so much fun if like the entire game would kind of play like this somewhat, right?
I'm hoping that like they're experimenting with this wild area to make an entire game like this one day. Maybe next generation, like they'll be a little bit more ambitious with, okay, like this is a route, this is your route 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yep.
Explore it, eventually you'll come across a town.
Exactly. I also like Pokemon Cobra Kai. I love the dojo and all the people in it. I think it's funny. I think it's hilarious that you just like one up everybody, and like he basically shames everyone for not being as good as you.
Yeah.
Constantly. He's like, what are you losers doing?
What do you think of the new characters?
I think they're okay. I have Avery and
okay. I have Clara.
So I've seen Clara. I'm going to say this. I mean, I haven't watched anything yet, but I don't think she's nearly as fun as Avery. Like Avery's pretty crazy. Like it's just a psychic Pokemon, like balls spin around the hat and everything, and she's always like she's lying and stuff like behind everybody's back and stuff. Oh, and when she when you beat her or when she leaves, she goes teleport and she runs away. And it's very like cringy, like SNL like type of skit. Yeah, it's super. She's like teleport, and then you see her go.
That actually does sound kind of funny. Claire
it makes me laugh.
A total spoiled brat who like
that's
tries to lie and cheat her way, and like she gets pouty when she doesn't get what she wants.
Oh, she just lies. Like so you're supposed to be taken for the the dojo person that's there, and she's like you beat her, and she's like, nope, there's no dojo. I guess you should go back home now.
Clara does that too.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're similar in that regard.
That's funny. And so I enjoy Avery quite a bit. That was actually one of the things I was going to say. I thought she was pretty funny. The challenges weren't like too challenging, but also, as you guys know, like I lost my save. So I was paying Jack to kind of play for me. Speaking of which, totally pissed me off. I didn't realize this until I started playing the game. He named me 1, 2, 3, 4 is the name that my trainer is. And I'm like, Jack, what the hell are you doing? And he looks at me and he goes, I was in a rush. I just wanted to finish. I was like, you were in a rush?
You didn't pay him enough.
My name has 6 letters. You chose 4. You were in a rush. The 2 letters would have been too much. Like, that was your... Oh, my God. So my trainer, I'm running around. I was 1, 2, 3, 4, like a moron. You can't change it either. Like, talk about, like, swerve. He's just got the long con on Dad.
Well, did he beat the game for you?
I don't think so.
Because you don't actually have to. You only have to get up to the wild area to be able to do the DLC,
Correct.
And it scales based on how many gym badges you have.
I think when we found that out, like a few weeks ago, I think we stopped. I told him, I was like, don't worry about it, just stop. So I came in with not my like level 60 Pokemon. I could get them out of the Pokemon home, but I was like, who cares? And so I've enjoyed the fact that it's leveling to me, because I've got like level 25, 35 Pokemon at the moment.
Yeah.
Which was cool, because when I got Cubone and Cubfu, now my entire party's changed, and now I just have Cubone, Marowak, and Cubfu, and that's really all that matters.
How do you feel with the difficulty? Because I still feel like I'm sweeping every battle.
I did the Avery battles were like piece of cake, but the Pokemon that I wanted to catch, like when I saw Poliwrath and went crazy, Poliwrath like wrecked me. I went into battles like level 50. I was like, oh no. So there are some random encounters with some of the, I think, more sought after Pokemon that are more leveled up than you. And I imagine I've not done those towers yet, but I imagine those towers are.
Yeah, I haven't gotten to
tough.
that point either.
And I've also read that the end game, like when you beat the towers, there's also like a challenge mode. So you have to take in, I think it's 3 Pokemon with limited healing things, and like you've got trainers to beat in that regard. So
it's like a battle tower.
Yeah, it was one of the questions we had. Brendan said, we see a lot of games have different levels of difficulty, though some do not, like Pokemon. Do you think that there should be difficulty sliders to make the game better for those seeking more of a challenge? So like with Pokemon and some Pokemon games, I think most Pokemon games, the end game serves as that, where you start fighting some leveled up trainers. Everybody's got like level 80, 90, 100 Pokemon, and there's like becomes your trainer, and then you've got multiplayer. And you've got those, plus you've got the max, like the den raids and all that stuff. So I think they try their best to do it, but it would be interesting, I guess, to see, like easy Pokemon, medium Pokemon, hard Pokemon.
I think probably my wish for that would be like a veterans mode where it turns off the tutorials of like, I know how to catch Pokemon. I don't need it to waste my time with how to catch Pokemon.
I also would like a Fire Emblem mode where I could turn off like maybe certain moves or duplicates of moves or something to speed up the battles too. I wouldn't mind that either. Because like in Fire Emblem, usually the first chapter or 2, I watch all the animations, and then usually like chapter 4 or 5, I just turn them all off. I'm like, okay, I've seen them all. Right, and let's just move on and do the little icons that just kind of smash against each other.
Have you guys heard of the Nuzlocke challenge that you can do? Yeah, baking in something like that would be kind of neat. I don't know
making an actual in-game mechanic.
In-game mechanic, or just I guess New Game Plus would be another thing that would be kind of interesting. But Pokemon always has set one strategy difficulty throughout all the games, or except for Gen 5 apparently, but. And it sounds like Pokemon only gets harder in game, which, it kind of, I don't know. It's okay for people that want more of a challenge, but you have to reach all the way to the end to get that.
It's also made for kids.
Yeah, made for kids. So you gotta level with that. I think one game that does it really well, that is completely sideways, is Wargroove. What they do is not like a set like easy, medium, or hard. And it's a strategy RPG, right? So they have different sliders for different mechanics of what you think is more of a challenge, whether it's more health for you or more health for the enemy, damages, or anything like that. It's not making the AI easy, like dumber or more complicated. It's just handicapping either one way or the other. That could be another thing that Pokemon could do, is like maybe put 50% more health on the enemy's Pokemon.
Yeah, that would be pretty, I think, easy for them to implement, and it could go a long way. The other thing that I wanted to say about the DLC is, Donnie, that you probably wouldn't have had this experience with it if you haven't beat the game yet, but with me, like, I'm the champion of the Galar region, and I got to this island and nobody knows who I am. They're like, hey, what's this kid doing at this dojo? And it's like, I'm the champion. Like, how do you've never heard of me before?
That must be hard for you. I can imagine, like, that's how she is on Twitter and stuff too. She's like, wait a second, what?
No,
you've never heard of me before? What are you talking about?
In the game, it's like the same island where the former champion trained at. So like, it feels like it's not meant to be played after you beat the game.
I got you.
Which I think is a little bit counterintuitive.
It's a good point. It's very standalone. It's very separated.
Yeah.
Is there a place to sell stuff there?
I think you can upgrade the dojos later on
to get like a store.
Like, it adds a boutique. It adds like I think it adds like a Poke Center.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
I haven't gotten that far.
Because like I because I started over, I don't have like a whole bunch of stuff, but I found a bunch of stuff that I needed to convert into money so I could get potions and get Pokeballs. And then I was like, I don't know where to sell. I was biking all over the place trying to find a place to sell it, and I had to leave. And
yeah, I think you have to fly back. And
I had to leave and come back. It's okay. You know what? I would say this for $30, right? Is it $25-$30 for both?
Is it 30 for both or 40?
I think it's
30 or 40.
I think it's 30. I don't think it's that. I don't think it's 40.
30.
I bought 2 of them. I bought one for me and Jack. It was 40. I feel like I would know that a little bit more. I much prefer this than them release another standalone copy of the game with this added onto it.
Yes.
This is what they've been needing to do for a long time now. So this is progress for Pokemon. It's not enough, but it is progress. So hats off to them for doing this instead of, what they normally do. And like, here's another copy of the game. And they can still do that, right? They can still release Pokemon Sword Shield Game of the Year Edition, whatever, with the DLC bundled in this fall. They can still do that. That'd be fine. But I'm happy that they gave us the option to expand upon it. And I am enjoying it, but also because most of my favorite Pokemon, I got Cubone and Marowak. The guys, that is really all that matters. Like, I am so happy right now. So happy. I kicked so many folks to the curb. I was like, get out of this. Get out of this party. You're done here, okay? You're done. Like, I'm a Hitmonchan and I'm a champ away from being set. Cub Fu is awesome.
Oh, he is so cute.
My son was like, who are you going to evolve him into? I was like, nobody. He's like, what? I was like, no.
Really?
I want level 100 Cub Fu. He's awesome.
You have to for the story.
You have to grab another one.
I'm on a bad run, guys, of things that video game stories are making me do.
And you can't breed them either.
For other things happening later. My son, by the way, is he's all in it. I'm really proud of his fandom and his geekdom. He is in YouTube land telling me about special elite stats and trainer this and breeding that. I was like, okay, yeah, have fun.
He's
a pro.
He's all in it. Yeah, he's a way better Pokemon player than I'll ever be. Like, he's deep into it. And that's another thing for that challenge question. Like, you can make a lot of Pokemon. You can make the game kind of what you want it. You can be as simple as me, like a school-age child that just wants to become the champ, or you can go as far as, crafting the most elite team with the elite stats that you could possibly ever find. So I'm enjoying it. Anything else, Rebecca?
That's pretty much all.
What about you,
Quick
Garrett?
Quick question. Is the DLC, it's separate. It's Sword and Shield DLC. Is there any difference with them, though?
That I don't know. I imagine the trainers are different, right? We have different versions.
Yeah,
we have
there's the
trainers.
different rival. You have Avery, I have Clara.
Okay.
But mostly
you don't get
probably a couple exclusive Pokemon.
I think it's weird. I did see the headline
the
on Twitter that it's super weird that Nintendo is releasing, like, you have to buy the correct version of DLC for the game you have.
I've already seen people buy the wrong one.
And they're saying that if you do, like, they're not refunding you.
Yeah.
No, they are.
They?
That was just a false post on Reddit.
Because I was like, that's garbage.
Yeah, I think it's very easy to pick the wrong one, so they should.
Yeah.
Why?
They call up Nintendo and they get it situated.
Why can't they just buy the expansion pass and it just know the game you're on?
I don't know.
Make everybody buy it from inside the game.
Yeah,
get
that
off
too.
the eShop and be like, no, you gotta boot up the game and click on it from here, so we know what to give you.
Yeah, exactly.
That didn't make any sense.
Hearing from you guys, your impressions of it, it really is not convincing me to go back to Pokemon.
It's not essential. I agree with you. It's not essential.
Yeah.
I wouldn't call it essential.
Especially because if you just want the old new Pokemon that they added, you don't need the DLC for that. It'll be, you just update your game and it gets added to the base game.
Oh,
so
cool.
if you just want your Cubone and you don't want to do anything else, you don't need it.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
But if you want Cub Fu and you want to do the trials or whatever they are,
Cub Fu is worth it. He does like the kick and he comes back and he does those hands. He's like,
he's
I was like,
pretty darn cute.
He's awesome.
Yeah.
It's my favorite
Pretty
Pokemon of the last 2 or 3 generations. Easy.
Yeah.
Looks kind of cool. I may wait for the second part or the second DLC because I'm really into the Reggies. I just remember that as memories with 3rd gen Pokemon. I think there's a lot more 3rd gen Pokemon on the second part of DLC, what I remember. So I'll keep an eye out on that. But I can always wait on Pokemon. I don't know why. I'm not feeling the Pokemon vibe right now. So
it kind of strikes me as a thing like for the Breath of the Wild DLC, how the first part added some kind of stuff to keep you busy, but then the second part was like the meat of it.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like this is the same way.
Cool. So yeah, I've been playing more Xenoblade, and that's just all I've been playing Nintendo wise. I'm about 40 hours in now. I'm on chapter 11. So I got from the Bionis to the Mechon, big body dude. The story, man, oh my gosh, there's like plot twist after plot twist after plot twist. I haven't actually seen much like emotion and scenery into a JRPG in a long time, probably since Persona 5, that I've really gotten invested into a game like this. And even at that, I find it, I want to do still every side quest that I can get my hands on. There's a lot of still quality of life stuff. And I'm like, okay, I understand why this game is the way it is, because it's a 2010 game, not a 2020 game. It's not optimizing my equipment, or it's not like, hey, these are all the quests you're going to accept right now. But it's still really good. The worlds are massive and really outlandish. And I'm looking forward, man. I'm looking forward for more Xenoblade. But really, that's all I've been doing Switch wise.
It makes me really, really happy to hear that. And I'm so excited when people find the original Xenoblade, because I think it's way better than the others, personally. Mm-hmm. I know other folks may disagree, but personally, I love the first Xenoblade, which I've said plenty of times.
Mm-hmm. I took a stab at Xenoblade 2, probably when it came out, or it was like winter of 2017, somewhere around there. Mm-hmm. I didn't really get into it that much. I just didn't care about the characters. I didn't think they were endearing. Maybe I'll go back to it and try it out one more time after I'm done with Xenoblade, and probably a huge break. I'll probably go to Pokemon and any other backlog I have in Nintendo. But yeah, no, I'm still chugging along with it.
Cool.
And yep.
I'm playing Pokemon. That's really what I'm playing. I'm supposed to be playing the Coma 2, which I did get a review code for. So thanks, big time for them reaching out to me. Devspresso Games hooked me up with the code. I streamed the first game. I think it was pretty early on the first one. So I worked with them before, and they remembered me. So they were like, absolutely, we'd have to give you one. But here's the deal. I was supposed to play it before playing a certain game that comes out on another console. But I started playing that game already. So it just got put off. So that's it. I think it comes out tomorrow, but next Shack, I'll start this weekend and I'll play it. But I played about an hour of it before I figured out that I could play another game. So my first hour impressions, it was good. It's similar. It's a similar mechanic, and I feel like this is always the case with like these indie sequels. The first game is kind of what they could afford to make. The second game, especially if they kind of hit on something, if they find a little success, the second game is the game that they wanted to make. Right, like they put all the quality of life improvements, all the better. Like they spend more time on the visuals and everything. They kind of make it the best version that they wanted to. Same game, right? Sense. It's just better.
Yeah, they have a little bit more experience under their belts.
Yeah, so I immediately was like, "Oh, this looks a little bit sharper. It's a little bit, crisper, a little bit more fluid." That was kind of my immediate impressions. But hold off until next week. We got plenty of news to talk about anyway. So hold off till next week. Let me beat the game, and I'll come back with a more deep review of the game. Starting with the news that broke right before we hit the air, EA Play Live just was announced, and the big news coming out of this, I mean, this has been floating the rumor mill. We've talked about it for a long time. So, surprise, Apex Legends is coming to the Switch. It's coming this fall. It wasn't dated, just this fall. It will come with crossplay with Steam, Origin, and all consoles. That is big news.
Yeah.
They mentioned cross progression. They didn't confirm it for Switch, and they didn't say which games. They just said we're working on bringing cross progression to a lot of our games.
Gotcha.
I presume that has to mean Apex. Like, of all the games that they would bring it to, that'd be the one that they'd bring it to. Right? That'd be the one. Like it and Madden, probably like the first two. So Apex Legends, look, I'm not going to play it.
Me neither.
But my son did one of those N64 kid moments where he was like, yes! Like he shoved his hand in the air. He is so excited. Him and his friends play Apex. They play on Xbox, but the problem is his best friend only has an Xbox when he goes to like his mom's house on the weekends. Right? So where he lives daily, they can't play. They have Switches at home. So this is very exciting for them. They're going to be able to play more. So this is cool. If it runs anywhere as good as Overwatch, I think this is a hit for everybody because, I mean, if it runs as good as Overwatch, if it looks and runs as good as Overwatch does, that's kind of the bar that I'm hoping that they hit. We'll see, right? But if that's the bar that they can hit, Switch would be it's a free game. Like that's easy. Yeah. It's free to play.
Oh, I don't think I realized that.
Yeah, it's like a huge popular game. It's totally free, so it's like why not?
Wouldn't you try it? Right.
Yeah, if you're into shooters, just play it.
I'm wondering, is it 30 FPS? I think that's.
I would imagine so. Yeah, I would imagine. I mean, you got to make some concession.
Yeah, I'm thinking Apex Legends. It's a very fast, twitchier game, I think, than Overwatch. playing it a couple with other friends. I don't know. I mean, the Switch, I think it's going to be a nice home for them. Crossplay though with PC and like other consoles, and like that could be a little bit of disadvantage. I know with Fortnite that's the same case as well.
The same thing that I say all the time. I would rather be at a disadvantage and have the ability to play than not have the ability to play at all.
That's true. Like,
yeah, I feel like it probably doesn't matter a whole lot unless you're playing on some kind of competitive level.
And if you're playing on that level,
you're not playing
on Switch.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I'm just wondering how much of a disadvantage it's going to be, because I think this is a faster game than any other free-to-play battle royale game I've faced before, or multiplayer game in general.
I mean, it's basically like Titanfall's mechanics in a team-based battle royale, and it's pretty quick, and there's a lot of movement, a lot of traversal. You can fly up to the sky into a tower and drop all the way down in a blink of an eye. So it'll be interesting. It'll be a good test to see what they can do. Yeah. I just want to cross my fingers. I have hope, right? Like we've seen Outer Worlds and we've seen Doom, and it's like, yikes. But we've also seen like Overwatch, and I stand by it. Like Overwatch is a really good port. Like it's good. Okay. It's better than playable. Like it's good. It's a good port, right? So I'm going to cross my fingers in hopes for the Apex folks, because Switch has been a hit with these games, right? Mm-hmm. Fortnite was a big boom when it hit Switch, right? And they got an uptick when they hit Switch, and a lot of people are buying Switches because of it. That's good. That's they need more of that stuff though. So Apex, it's old game, everybody's already had it, but at the same time, this is a big third-party release for Nintendo. Mm-hmm. Like a Nintendo Switch, this is a game that they're probably going to market around. They're going to, if they ever do a direct, they're probably going to have a reminder that Apex is in there. Like they're going to remind you, like, hey, here comes Apex. They'll probably do some sort of promotion on a discount or a free pack or something. Mm-hmm.
I would imagine, yeah.
Yeah, so like Fortnite, Rocket League, Apex, it's good. These are the games that everybody's playing, right? These are the big games that most people are playing, so you need to have them. So good on Nintendo, good on EA, which has brought us not much. So good on EA for finally doing something. And on that regard, segueing into the next point, they announced that there were 7 games coming to Switch in the next 12 months, including Burnout Apex. Also, a game that they showed tonight was called Zoink Games Lost in Random. Right. So that's a third one that was confirmed. So out of the 7, we know 3. That means that there's 4 more that are unannounced that we don't know about yet.
Exciting stuff. What do you think?
Well, actually, I'm sorry. We know that one of them's FIFA.
FIFA, yeah.
So that means there's 3 games that they didn't announce that are coming to Switch. I'm running out of spaces to fill in Madden. They didn't say Madden.
I don't know.
Makes me think it's not happening.
Yeah.
Like today would have been the day to say it.
That's true. Mass Effect. Give me that Mass Effect collection.
A lot of people want that. I don't think that's happening.
You really don't think so?
I think if it happens, it's not happening at launch.
I was gonna say I think it's happening, but on the Switch at launch, probably.
It's an Outer World situation where it's gonna come out and maybe a year later.
Oh. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Outer Worlds, meaning that it'll be delayed. Sure. Yeah. I'm fine with that. I think it's gonna run okay though.
I mean, the BioShock collection's got to give you hope.
Yeah.
I've done like the Digital Foundry on BioShock. I've watched people play it. That's a pretty good port. Like, that's
it's not
pretty
bad.
Sweet. Like, I'm probably going to pick it up on a Black Friday deal just to have a cartridge of it, just because it's cool. Like, I'm not going to spend $60 on a game I already have, but if I can get a deal, and there probably will be a deal because, those games go and sell quite a bit. When I can pick BioShock up for like $20-$25, I'm probably going to just to be able to, who knows? I might be on a car ride somewhere where it's like, I'm going to play BioShock just to have it.
And the Borderlands collection is pretty good too. I saw that.
Yeah. So you got hope. You've got some hope that maybe they can make it work. Maybe.
Yeah. So what other games are you thinking? Is it gonna be? Do you think it's just gonna be smaller games?
I said the games, guy. Like, remember we did those show like 6 weeks ago, and I said the games that nobody wanted to hear. I thought Sea of Solitude, Peggle, The Sims. Plants vs. Zombies, Battle for Neighborville, like
I really like The Sims. I don't know if I see that happening, but I do think it will probably be something smaller.
Sims was on Wii, Sims was on 3DS, Sims was on DS.
Really? Oh, okay. Wow.
I mean, I'm just saying that there's
I could go either way with that.
There's
I think
precedence.
Yeah.
But whatever The Sims is doing now may not be able to run on Switch. I don't know. I don't know. I don't play The Sims. I don't know.
I don't know enough about it.
But when I think EA on Switch, I know people don't want to hear it, but I think, EA originals, indie games, smaller games. And now here's the thing. Peggle comes to Switch, totally buying Peggle. The game is freaking awesome. Mm-hmm. If you guys have never played Peggle, I saw it in your eyes. I saw Rebecca. She's like, I don't know what you're talking about.
The heck is Peggle?
You need to look up some Peggle. Peggle is amazing. That's a great game. One of my favorite games. And I was actually surprised that it's not already on Switch. They should totally do like a Peggle double pack. You know what I'm talking about, Garrett? Dude, Peggle is, so good. It's so good. The amount of time I've spent with my wife playing Peggle, like just having drinks, having fun, it is the perfect game. Yeah.
I've heard of Peggle.
Peggle's great. But I want it to be Madden. That's what I want it to be. I just want a Madden game on Switch. That's all I want. And
I don't think it's going to happen.
Just one.
I'm sorry, Donnie.
Just do one game and let us have custom rosters. That's all we're asking for. And I love they spent like 15 minutes in this thing today talking about, we hear you. We want to listen to you. We hear your cries. I'm like, do you? Because I'm pretty sure we've all been yelling at you about Madden for 3 years now. And it doesn't seem like you've heard
PR talk.
Jack.
We hear you. Skate 4.
Yeah, and then they were like, here's Skate. Also not on Switch.
Yeah.
And I love the Skate announcement too because, look, this is just video games. I get it. We get excited for trailers. We get excited for announcements. I got excited for a Metroid Prime screen like 3 years ago that who knows when's coming. Like, so a total hypocrite here, but I love it when somebody goes, game announcement, and they don't even show you a logo. It's literally just some guy. It's like, we're going to start working on it.
You know it exists. Just knowing that it exists sometimes
Could you imagine?
Like better than anything else.
If they did that like in music or movies, they're like, hey guys, gonna make a Superman movie. Like, what is it about? Like, don't know. Who's gonna be in it? No clue. We just decided about 15 minutes ago, but it's totally going to happen.
The director doesn't even know it. Okay?
Right. That is so cool, funny, weird, sometimes disappointing thing about video games, but we can all kind of share. But we collectively, like the bigger we love it. Think about these conventions. I always think about it from like a macro level. What other place do people get around and cry and shout and scream for trailers of products to buy?
I don't think so.
Like trailers of products. Not even buy them.
Advertisements.
Yeah, it's like later. Just later on, and we're like, yes! Oh my God!
$60.
It's strange, right? That's the only way. It's a strange thing that we do. And I'm not clowning it. I do it too. God, I do it more. Geez, I do it more than anybody else. I feel like I do it a lot.
It's generally the same for movies, but it is a little bit different.
I feel like with movies, all right, so I'm going to use an example, like the new Batman movie, right? It's got Robert Pattinson, I know his name, the dude from Twilight or whatever.
I don't know. Oh, sure.
Yeah.
That guy.
So here's the thing, like that movie was announced like 2 years ago. We've seen
I didn't even realize
we've seen like a clip of like somebody took a cell phone picture of them filming it. So we've seen the suit. And they've released like a dark trailer of it. There's no like crowd gathering like Batman. Like that's not happening. That doesn't happen until the movie comes out.
No,
only at Comic-Cons.
I think like Star Wars Star Wars people get like
Star Wars do. Touche. Mm-hmm. There might be some occasions. Yeah.
Yeah.
The Star Wars fandom's real. It's
that's true.
But
Titanfall?
What do you mean by Titanfall?
I mean, EA gets together and they're like, we're making Titanfall. And we're like, oh my God, did you see Titanfall? You know, like it's things we don't even know. Brand new things.
That's true. Anthem. That's probably Anthem. A great example, right?
Because it's just like a developer that you know.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I love it. Strange stuff, but it's awesome. Yeah. And then the last one, as I said, Zoink Games, Lost in Random's coming to Switch. Now, this is cool. When it was shown, like when they said Zoink, I was like, okay, it's coming to Switch. But when they showed it, they didn't explicitly say it was coming to Switch, and I was like, maybe it's not. But the PR release that came out after confirmed that it was. So this is one of those games. Did you guys see it at all?
Yeah. It looked really cool.
It has like this Tim Burton, it has this cool little, so it looks really good. And it's like this action adventure game. The girl had like a bow. I think I saw her with a sword. But then she has a traveling companion that's a dice.
Oh, I did see that.
And then they mentioned that like there's some chance involved. So you may be in a battle where you got to roll the dice and like something good or something bad happens maybe off the dice roll or something.
Like D&D.
And you've got to like figure it out from there. So I was like, okay, that's cool. And if you guys want to know, like these are the same people that did Flipping Death, Faye, Stick It to the Man. Flipping Death is great. Faye is Stick It to the Man. I did not like. And I know a lot of people did. I did not like the game at all. But they have good developer, good studio. So awesome. And then they had Joseph Ferris, the guy that
Yes.
cussed out everybody at the Game Awards, and he basically just talked about how awesome he was for about 15 minutes, and then
He was just bragging and
He
bragging.
was.
I'm like,
He's like,
I was like, they're really leaning on that personality. I was
he's like, I'm just totally awesome.
And it's like, we're gonna marry story and mechanic together. That's what we do. And
Is the game? It's called It Takes Two, right?
It Takes Two.
All I
Is
thought of was Mary Kate, like the Olsen twins in that movie.
There is a movie called that with them.
Like I was,
gosh.
and it's like that's the whole point. There's like two people, and you got to co-op working together. And I so badly wanted to be that cynical person on Twitter that posted a picture of it and be like, "How many games until Joseph Ferris gets here? Like, how many games do we have? Like a stealth twins game where you got to like escape, ruin a wedding."
Awesome.
Oh boy.
Getting on with the news, Rebecca, tell me about this next game.
Yo, jump rope challenge. What
What in the rhythm heaven is this?
What is
I
it?
didn't know if I was like, it felt like a fever dream. Like I didn't know if I was hallucinating or what. But at midnight, Nintendo drops like a random tweet saying, "Jump rope challenge. Here's a free eShop game like that you can download right now. It's a limited release until September 30th. You can have it for free. It was created by a few Nintendo developers while working from home in Japan to add quick and fun physical movement into their daily life." I downloaded it.
I downloaded it too.
Did
It's
you really?
They
Yeah,
are not-
it's free.
Listen, I've
Come
done my
on, Donnie.
100 jump ropes every single day since it came out, but it's so simple. Like I feel like
I don't want this stuff on my Switch. What are you talking about?
You want all the games on Switch.
it
Donnie,
does
come
exactly
on.
what it says it's going to do.
You just like
take your
twist the Joy-Con.
You take your Joy-Con, one in each hand, and
Oh,
you
you
jump
jump
rope. It's pretty cool. You have a little bunny. You can change the outfit. You can have a friend join you. You can set your goal. It
Nice.
keeps track.
This
It
is a
keeps
joke.
in
They're
every single
playing a
day.
joke on people.
Okay, listen, I think it's because they know that Ring Fit Adventure is like you can't buy it on the shelves, and there were probably a couple developers who were messing around saying like, what can we do? It probably got to a higher up in Nintendo who liked it and said, hey, let's put this on the Switch.
Okay, I hear your scenario, and I want to raise you one.
Sure.
I think somebody lost a bet, and they were like, I bet you that if I put this out, I can have 2 million downloads, and if I win, you owe me X amount of money. And like they're sitting back laughing their ass off.
Better
It
yet.
was so weird to see that at midnight. And then like I was like, do I cover this for Twinfinite at midnight? Like, is this a newsworthy thing?
And then I told you yes, because
Yeah,
you
so I
got to
did.
be the first one.
but then I had to download it and see what it was, and it was like, I don't know. It
It works.
doesn't lie.
Okay,
You
cool.
can jump rope. It works. It's cute.
It looks like a mini game straight out of Rhythm Heaven. Like that's the first thing I thought of. I was like, it's Rhythm Heaven fever.
If it motivates somebody to get 10 minutes of cardio in each day, cool.
And I believe one of the
Sure.
devs' daughter created that rabbit.
That's
Just drew it.
adorable.
Yeah.
I was saying we got to get the jump rope challenge bunny into Smash. Just saying.
There we go.
Reminded me of
Trophy-
that-
trophy.
Was the bunny that we had in the 3DS the theme game?
Oh
Where you
yeah,
had,
that
like,
guy.
where they had like the little what was it? You could get all the.
Straight pass.
I'm trying to remember what it was. It's
Yes.
like the claw game, right? Like you had a claw
Yeah,
game,
there's
you
a
could
claw
get
game.
icons
Yeah.
out and stuff.
Claw,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's what it was reminding me of. I thought that was funny. Why don't you continue there, Rebecca, and tell us
Yeah.
about the Pokemon Presents?
So we had the Pokemon Presents presentation on Tuesday, which I think surpassed my expectations,
Oh yeah,
especially when they started off with Pokemon Smile, a smartphone app to help kids brush their teeth. As soon as they showed that, I started to tune out. I'm like, okay, it's
Yeah.
gonna be this, couple other little things. They're going to cover the DLC. Not really much here. I don't know. Was there anything you wanted to say more about Pokemon Smile, or can we?
I just was shocked. I was like, why do they do this? Like, why? This is not the audience for this. Like, I get
Exactly.
that they're like, we want to get as many eyes on as possible, but this isn't the eyes that you want. I don't know. It's weird because I feel like they could probably make the case that, well, it's not a Nintendo Direct, it's a Pokemon thing, so only Pokemon people are playing. It's like, yeah, but these are gamers.
It was
Pokemon
clearly
game.
Not
meant
young
for
kids.
kids. Like they
Oh, of
weren't
course.
hiding that it was for children.
My son called it Pokemon Teeth, and it was like horrific when I heard it. He was like, they released an app called Pokemon Teeth. I was like, oh gosh.
well, there are
that's
all
horrible.
the memes online about it, which were pretty funny to see.
I'm more interested in the next one, Pokemon Cafe.
Yeah, Cafe Mix. It's one of those ones like Quest where they're putting it out for Switch and smartphones.
Cool.
It's a free-to-play puzzle game where you take the icons and you swirl them to try to get matches.
So that's what I don't understand. I downloaded it, but I am completely lost in the swirl thing. When they were like, it's a puzzle game, and I was like, okay, you match it. And then they do like this giant jungle thing. I'm like, what? What?
I saw the video of it, and I'm like,
Is it
you
out?
literally...
Is it out already?
It preload.
Yeah.
Oh.
You literally just swirl around, and that's all you do. There's
And it
no
seems-
strategy. It's not a puzzle game. It's just literally just ringing around like Pokemon Ranger. Like, I don't know.
Kind of.
Well, I think the art style is very cute. I wish
Yes.
that they could use that art style maybe for something else.
Maybe.
Because
That's
I think
good.
the art looks really nice. But yeah, it doesn't seem like too much of a puzzle game, but it's on Switch and smartphone, so
Again, I think it's for a kid that just wants to just use the phone and run it around
maybe.
a circle.
I assume it's free. It's free to start, right?
Yes.
Are there in-app purchases and stuff?
Yes.
So that's probably one of those mobile type things. The best announcement is a new Pokemon Snap game. I just about died. It shows Pokemon from all generations. I think I was hearing mixed things about the graphics. I think the graphics look pretty clean.
I thought they looked nice.
I don't even think that's going to be the final product. I
No,
think
it's early.
there's probably going to be more, textures and fancy bells and whistles added. They didn't show a whole lot.
No, they didn't.
I have said, I think, multiple weeks on here how much I want a new Pokemon Snap game. They didn't even show a lot of things that were in the first Pokemon Snap, but I have high hopes that they will include a lot. It seems like it's going to be grander in scope. It's being developed by Bandai Namco, which is good. The first one was developed by HAL, I think. I don't know. They say it's coming soon. They also said Cafe Mix was coming soon, and
Is Pokemon Snap by the end of the year?
I don't know.
I think so.
You think
Yeah.
so? Like, we can look
could
forward
be.
to that sometime in 2020?
I think it could be like their Pokemon game in the fall as they release the second DLC, as they prepare for the next game next year.
If it's a major Pokemon game, it'd have to be $60 then.
Oh, it's
I
going to
don't
be
know.
$60.
Definitely be
You
$60.
really
gonna be
think it's going to be $60?
Because people like me and Rebecca are going to pay $60 in a heartbeat to buy it.
I know you guys will pay Pokemon Snap $60, but the broad
think-
audience
I
and the
think-
new people that come in, I don't know.
I think what it's going to be, it's not as grand as Animal Crossing, but it's going to be that kind of thing where a lot of people hype it up, just like for Animal Crossing. A lot of people are going to buy into it, but it's not a game for everybody at all. And I think there's going to be a lot of people who are like,
Pokemon Snap will outsell Mystery Dungeon fairly
oh,
quickly.
I agree with that.
absolutely,
And
absolutely.
probably Pokken. Maybe.
Maybe.
Probably.
Yeah.
I think it will because just like
21 years, we've been waiting for this
That's it.
forever.
that's the reason why. Because it's been waited and it's been talked about forever. So okay. I literally cussed out loud. You got to think about this situation where I'm watching this stupid smartphone game and a smile thing, and I'm sitting there, and I'm watching you guys in the chat. I'm trying to look at Twitter. I'm like, this is garbage. What am I looking at this for? And then I look up, and I saw just the initial screen, and I saw that click, and I was like, holy sh-.
I know what it is.
GameSpot reported on it before the part of the trailer got to it. Right at the very beginning. So I saw that and somebody posted it in Twinfinite like, hey, like, why is GameStop, like, did they get a press release or something? So I, like, part of me was like, wait a second, like, did this get announced like, I wasn't sure, but I was still ended up surprised.
I'm so happy I went in completely blind because that reaction, my son was like, Mom, Dad just cussed about a Pokemon game because I lost my mind. I was like, no way.
Yeah.
Because I've been talking about this game forever, which we talked about on Twitter. I've been talking about this game on 3DS. I was like, for sure we're going to get Snap. And then Wii U, I was like, for sure we're going to get Snap. And
do you remember how I said that no game besides Zelda could beat Animal Crossing as Game of the Year for me?
Uh-oh.
This could be
Oh, dang.
So,
depending on if it's good.
so Grouchy asked, and I think a lot of people might want to know, why are we excited? Because I posted all caps messages on Twitter. People are like, what? Like, it was just like this anime, little on rails Pokemon game. And I feel like some folks that maybe never played the original, they don't understand the magic that was Pokemon
I think
Snap.
that's why, yeah.
So Pokemon Snap is, yes, at its base core, is a game where you take pictures of Pokemon. the fascinating, the magic of the game is that there's a lot of interactive elements that you can do in the environment, and there's a lot of hidden things that you can do to get better scores. So you're scored based on how good your pictures are. And I feel like in an Instagram world, this is a perfect time to drop a game like this. Like people are ready for a game like this. I even saw, I saw a tweet that was hysterical. I think Kyle, somebody may have put it in the Discord. I don't remember who gave it to me. There was a tweet from like The Onion or something. It was like millennials with photo degree ready for
that one.
Yes. Like, that is so funny. It is perfect timing, but
it really is.
So you could throw apples and you could hit Pokemon, or you could like create chain reactions where a Pokemon might attack another Pokemon, might turn over a tree or make something come out of the water. And it's about finding all of those hidden things to take the pictures as you kind of trolley your way through this beautiful world. And on
figure
64,
out how to make them evolve.
And it was just, all of that was great. Now the first game was really short. This game for $60, it can't be that. It's got to be longer than that.
That's what I'm thinking, right? If it's as short as Pokemon Snap, it's like can't be.
The first game had 6 courses.
You could run them in like 2 or 3 hours.
63 Pokemon. Yeah, you can.
That's why
we did see Pokemon from all generations in this trailer. I think they will probably include a lot of them. I'm hoping it's very grand in scale. I'm hoping they do some ambitious things with it, like even though it's on rails, maybe make like branching paths for the rails so that like you can go in a different way each time.
Puzzles to uncover to open up hidden paths.
I do hope they utilize motion.
That'd be good. Of course, that's a must-have.
Yeah,
filters would be good.
I would like some kind of online capability so that we can share our best shots. Some kind of friend leader
photo mode
challenge.
Decorate your pictures with like different frames and stuff. Send them on share. Send them on Twitter. Just like Animal Crossing. Like all that's good. I'd like some sort of like resource gathering, like some sort of like hidden, like find the keys or find the something, find whatever things, types of things.
I hope that they make the Pokemon a little bit, not smarter, but like not necessarily, like in the first game, they would follow the same exact movements and same exact paths each time. So like you would generally know, okay, like a Meowth will always pop out of this rock at exact this time. I wouldn't mind if they tried to like change it up a little bit, that like maybe, maybe
it's a bit more procedural.
Make it realistic a little bit more.
That's an interesting take.
Ambitious.
Because I think if we do that, then it makes it hard to share all of the things that you did to find the secrets.
That's true.
Or do speed runs or anything like that.
That's an interesting way of thinking about it. But it would always make it fresh and new, too.
They do make it grander in some way. As many secrets as possible.
And it's meant to be played over and over and over again. And that's where the branching paths would come in. That would be great. It'd be cool to do like day and night cycles. It'd be cool to do weather. Those types of things would be cool.
It's not just like a photo mode in other games.
It would be cool if they added some sort of mini game.
Yeah.
Like if we had some mini games that you could do, like maybe there's like I don't know, like some sort of, toss apple challenge or throw, like shoot stuff out of your cart or something. You know what I'm saying? Like some Mario Party-esque little Pokemon type mini games to play.
I remember the mini games from like Pokemon Stadium. I played that so many times.
Yes. So like the Scare Scraper in Luigi's Mansion, just throw in a little something to give you a little more to do besides the main campaign. All of that is good, great stuff. I
was thinking it could be super fun if you could like customize your character, like instead of just being Todd Snap, like you can customize maybe like however many points you get on photos, you can spend those points on, maybe you make money and you spend that money on like vehicle upgrades or like cosmetic like camera upgrades or
mechanics,
like filters.
You could do like a pause, like you could break the cart for an extended period of time or something like that.
Slow-mo.
Maybe you could go and like you could swim in a certain section where you couldn't.
They only had 3 main items in the first game. It was the apples, the pester balls, and the Pokeflute. I hope they add a lot more things that we can use to interact with.
That'd be great. That'd be super fun.
Do they only show one course right now in that trailer?
No, I think they showed like a beach and like a jungle area.
A beach and a jungle.
I think that's right. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
I jogged my memory because I was going to say one, but definitely the beach, and I think you're right. Yeah, the jungle area.
So the very end of Pokemon Snap 1 with the Mew on Rainbow Cloud, do you think there will be something like fancy mystical at the end of this?
I hope so.
There better be secret endings.
I hope they get crazy with it. I hope there's like Detective Pikachu's in there. It'd be
they
hilarious.
Got a lot more Pokemon in there.
Yeah.
So
you can do a lot.
I want the like the Ghost Tower with Haunter and Ghastly and Marowak and all that. Like I want that. That'd be really fun.
Now they did say, I think in the description, that like it's a new island, so I am hoping that the areas will be as diverse as the first game.
Yep.
Cool.
That works. And then like they could do DLC maybe. You know, like you could add on to it later with new tracks and new things to do.
Please. But this is like the game I'm looking forward to now more than anything else.
I think I'm with you. Yeah, no, like this, like I said, I audibly popped. And I don't do that often. Like, I get excited about games, but I don't audibly pop. Like,
I was starting to.
I've only caught that on camera, like the Smash unveil got me. The Breath of the Wild 2 got me.
Yeah.
This was that moment. Like I was like, oh, like my son was like, what? Because that's all we saw.
Surprised too.
I just saw the beach, the sand, and it did that little chick, and I was like, oh, no way, they're doing Snap finally. Oh, this is great. This is the spin-off Pokemon game that I want to see.
I like zoned out of the rest of the presentation after that, so I ended up having to go back and rewatch it. It was, I think, a lot smaller stuff after that. They mentioned how they really should have closed it with Snap, I think.
Yeah.
They talked about how Mega Evolution is coming to Pokemon Go. It was just a teaser, no information about how that's going to work. Sword and Shield Zeraora, who was a legendary or mythical in the last generation, is coming to max raid battles. If 1 million players win raids before June 28th, everyone will receive a shiny Zeraora. The fine print on that said players must move a Pokemon between the home app, and Sword and Shield before the 28th to receive that shiny Zeraora prize. So if you are even at all remotely interested in that shiny Zeraora, use home before then. I think what's interesting is that the regular Zeraora in the max raid battles can't be caught. So I think that's going to make the shiny version more common than the regular version.
I've seen this a lot more with like legendary Pokemon and like these special events. It's like, hey, why don't we just do shiny with it? Just like back in the day with like GameStop events and how they were releasing just shiny legendary Pokemon like it was candy. So, yeah.
And then they ended saying that more Pokemon information will be coming next week on June 24th.
Why?
Didn't they call it big news?
So we all are kind of in agreement with what we think this is, right?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know.
You want to guess?
I think it's Let's Go.
Yeah, it's Let's Go Johto.
Yeah.
There were a suspicious amount of generated plushes behind him. It seems to make sense. I still do think that we're going to get this game this fall. I think that's going to be.
Ooh, get 2 games.
No, it's going to be the major Pokemon game.
I think. Yeah, I do. That's why I'm hesitant about saying Snap is going to be this year.
Okay. Well, they wouldn't say soon if it wasn't this year, right? They did say it was early in development, didn't they? Wasn't that like a little thing at the bottom?
They had a sign that said under construction.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't care.
I don't know either.
We'll see.
I don't care. We're getting Pokemon Snap. I'm so
I
excited.
can't really think of what else it could be besides Let's Go Johto.
Well, you said you were wanting the Gen 4 remakes, right?
Yeah, but that's not going to happen this year.
Okay. It'll be next year.
Okay. Yeah, well, I mean, the last time we talked about it, I told you that I'm way more excited about Let's Go than the Gen 4.
Yeah, I just think I think that Let's Go wouldn't compete with the DLC that's coming out.
Yeah,
that's true.
Gen 4 remakes would.
They may even give you like a bonus incentive for buying both. You could work that into like some special Pokemon or something that you can get from.
And I think they probably didn't want to announce it during this presentation because it would overshadow the DLC.
I got you. That makes sense. That's pretty good. So Snap moves to 2021 and joins Metroid, Bayonetta, Breath of the Wild 2 and stuff. I'm all for it. I don't care. I'm with you, Rebecca. I'm real excited. It exists. I don't care. I'm here for it. I'm never getting I will have a Switch until it releases for sure. Because I have wanted a Pokemon Snap for a very long time. I'm very, very excited.
Now just give me Pokemon Puzzle League, please. Just give me a remake of that.
Hey, if they can remake Snap, anything is possible. I didn't think it would happen.
That's true.
And that was the Pokemon Presents.
Garrett, why don't you talk to us about the new Paper Mario? So this trailer leaked while we were on air last week, right?
It was on Friday, I think.
Okay.
Or whatever.
Gotcha.
Yeah. I thought it looked really cool, and it gave us a lot more information. It was totally out of the blue. It looks like a video that could have been a direct. But anyways, the new Paper Mario, the Origami King information. There was a huge video that came out on Nintendo. Mentioned that, the basis of the story is there's 5 huge streamers that's holding on to the Mushroom Kingdom, and each are held by a boss. And then Paper Mario has to, travel a bunch of places outside the Mushroom Kingdom to beat all these bosses. And there was a lot of different biomes, different lands to go to.
Yeah.
They went as crazy as like Mario Odyssey, to be honest with you, with the environments. And it is a 3D environment in 2D as well. It looked really, really good. And also, he meets companions along the adventure, including Olivia, which is the Origami King's sister, Kamek, Bowser that's folded up, and Bowser Jr., and then a Bomb-Bomb. And some of them do aid in battle. So we will have companions in our battle arenas, possibly.
So that you collect the toads and it fills out the audience.
That's a collectible too.
So I only read bullet points for this because I've already bought the game. So I feel bad because Nintendo show I should be talking about it, but it's like I'm all in on it. So I'll tell you about it when it comes out. I've already purchased, so I haven't even watched the trailer yet. I just read I think a tweet, a sermon, somebody had a bullet pointed tweet about it.
It looks really good.
It does look fantastic.
More of the combat information. Again, enemies are placed in rings as we saw in the first trailer, and you have to arrange them. Either you rotate them as you've seen before, or you can slide them to the other side of the circle. So
and those are moves that you have? You have a limited amount of moves?
Yeah, limited amount of moves and a time limit to it.
So that's the strategy part.
Yes. And once you align them properly, vertically down or side by side, adjacent to each other, you can do some attacks.
And I imagine if you can't figure out the puzzle fast enough, then you take damage.
It could be a damage or just a normal attack on the front enemy. It looks like when you align them, you get bonus attack, 1.5 times or whatever.
I think this is fun. This is interesting.
This is a really cool game that I think I'm going to get into. And there's more special attacks like the Fire Flower, Tail, and Pow Block. And then the boss battles are completely different than the regular battles. So the bosses are actually in the middle. I remember it was just crafty bosses. They were weird. It was like a rubber band man. There was pencils, colorful pencils.
I think the enemies in this game look so cute.
Yes, they looked really good. But basically, they're in the center of the battle, and you're outside, and you create the path on the circle or whatever in the rings. And there's left and right and up, and then there's power up spaces around. And so you make a maze to go to the center and attack them, and that's how you try to defeat that HP. So I thought that was really cool. And then lastly, they mentioned there's other mini games, there's secret locations to get more items, and then the Toad collectibles, as Donnie said. Overall, I think I'm more and more into this game. I would still love to see a demo come out right before it heads out. But yeah,
Independence Day, right? July 4th, play Paper Mario. That'd be good.
Yeah, that'd be great.
So there's still a month out?
Yeah, I think it's July. I don't know, mid-July
17th
or something.
Oh my God, next couple weeks, we're almost in July.
Yeah, I know.
I don't want to talk about it.
I know. I'm excited. It looks like you guys said. It looks great. It's coming at a time where things appear to be pretty open, so good. Fill in the gaps. And talking about those gaps, let's get into our Shaq question tonight. It might be the only question we have because I can imagine it could be a long one. I want to weave two together. So Kevin asked us last week. Xbox and Sony pulling out all the stops on first-party games. Where is Nintendo? Now, and another question we got a few weeks ago from Vagabond Artist that we've had here. He says, I don't care about Pikmin HD Remix. I don't care about Wonderful 101 Remastered or Paper Mario Asterisk Semicolon Deluxe or Xenoblade Remastered Boogaloo. This just isn't the first-party year for me, is it? Okay.
Soapbox. I'll let it be right now.
This is extremely similar to, I would say, the contested debate that I had on the Nintendo Dads right before Nintendo Animal Crossing release. Same one. I want to do Kevin justice. I don't want to just be like, you're wrong, and here are the reasons why I think you're wrong. Mm-hmm. It is nice, and we have a warm cocoon bubble when we have a nice roadmap, and we know all the things that are coming out, and when we can expect them, and when we can buy them. That's great. And I also think we've been conditioned to it, like in the E3
Yes.
generation of games for the past 12, 15 years. It's been a common thing. Over the past 2 or 3 years, across the entire board, though, I feel like it's been less and less. And we've gotten closer to, here's a game announcement, and it's releasing soon. And the reason that I think that's been happening is because we've had a lot of game announcements that got delayed a long time, and the company's caught a lot of flack for it. You guys remember 5-7 years ago, we knew about games that didn't come out for 5 or 7 years. Like, there were all kinds of games that didn't come out for a while. Yeah. And there seems to be some folks that are upset right now, especially with Nintendo first party, that there's not more on the horizon. Like, hey, I got Paper Mario, what else? Like, what's going on? Like, where are the games? And it's like, I understand that. I do, because you've bought a system, and you bought a system primarily probably to play Nintendo games, and you just want to know where they are. The thing that I can only say is, Nintendo is selling like crazy right now, and it's off the heels of Animal Crossing, which is a huge release for them, and they're going into Paper Mario. So it's like they've given you like some leeway. You already know the next Paper Mario game, and they dropped it out of the blue. Tomorrow we could wake up and know another game. Like, it could come at any moment. The big issue here, though, is that we have reputable journalists that have went on record, like Jeff Grubb, that said Nintendo delayed their Nintendo Direct because of COVID-related issues. They've told developers, this is how he knows this, they've told partnering developers, go ahead and show your game. We're not doing a Direct, so go ahead and release your information however you want to do it. So here's the thing. We're going to get information about games periodically, sporadically, leading up to whenever the next Nintendo Direct is. I'm going to say it's September, but say it's October, September, August, something like that. Whenever the next one is, we're going to get games before that from other people. And when Nintendo finally gets back together and they get running again, and this COVID thing is not over, I don't think it'll be over by then, but it's controlled. You got to remember, it's a different country. What we're doing in America isn't what Nintendo's doing over in Japan. They enclosed entire warehouses. It sent everybody home. Like, that has impacts and ramifications. And we may see delays in things of their plans, right? It may take a while.
Free jump rope games.
That's right. So that might be a part of this. And when they are ready to do their Direct, they will come back. And, the interesting thing here is that everybody's like, where are the games? It's like, we know them. We know the games. And the reason we know them is because they've been rumored and they've been verified and they've been like corroborated with different folks. And I know you don't want to believe it, but we know those Mario games are coming. We know there's a Pikmin port coming. Like, if that's all completely wrong, then we can never trust any Nintendo reporting again, because it's not Emily Rogers. This is not a Twitter account. It's professional games journalism sites that are on record. This is Eurogamer. Like, if we can't believe Eurogamer, who can we believe? Nobody? Like, can't believe anybody? So I feel like we know, we just don't know. But we know. We know. Like, we know what's coming. We don't know when it's coming, but we know. We know it's on the way. And again, not that this answers Kevin's point, and this is the part that I hate, because I know exactly what he's talking about. He's talking about Nintendo first-party games. He wants to know Bayonetta, and he wants to know, even though it's not first-party, but he wants to know Bayonetta, he wants to know Mario, and Pikmin, and Zelda, and Metroid. That's what he wants to know. But you're missing the fact that I've written down a bunch of games here that I am tracking for this year that I'm looking forward to. Bravely Default, right? Roki, Crisis Remastered, Deadly Premonition, Pokemon Snap, it might be next year. Paper Mario next month, PGA Tour, Catherine, No More Heroes 3, Lego Star Wars, Sports Story, Persona Scramble, Doom Eternal, The Last Campfire. That's a lot of games if they all come out in the next 6 months. Truly, it is. Like, those 10, 20 games, if they all come out in the next 6 months, that's one like every 2.5 weeks. And you throw in, Ubisoft's probably got some games. We know there's 2 or 3 more EA games over here. There's a couple indie games that are probably going to get announced. Nintendo will eventually. It's not like they don't have something this fall. We might have a brand new Pokemon game next week.
Okay. And that's, I think that's the part that, like, how I would respond to this question. First, he compares it to Xbox and Sony. I don't really think that you can compare what Microsoft and Sony are doing right now with Nintendo, because they're about to release a brand new console. They have something to prove with their lineups right now. Nintendo doesn't really have that to prove. I think you're right that, like, we know that there's something, like, there can't possibly not be
they've got something that's just not showing it yet. And it's weird that people are, I have to know. I need to know now.
They're impatient.
It's like,
right
just
now.
just have And I was pleading for them. I think it was March on Nintendo Dads. They're like, I don't know what to get. I'm like, just wait until Animal Crossing release. Like, give me 3 weeks.
I think because E3 would have been what, last week?
Yeah.
In a normal year, like if everything was normal right now, like we would have gotten a boatload of information about the rest of this year last week. It's only been a week since then. Like we're not getting the direct.
People are in arms,
we're
man.
having withdrawals, man.
Like,
we gotta get them games.
They already told us like we're gonna get information. It's just not gonna be in the form of a direct during that one particular week. The other thing is, it doesn't. To me, at least, it doesn't matter when we find out about these announcements. We're going to be playing them later this year anyway.
Sure.
If they have like their Mario Sunshine Remastered HD, whatever, it doesn't matter if it comes out.
Can't wait.
In a week from now or 6 months from now. Like you're going to buy it when it comes out anyway. Like.
Well, I also think it's funny because he does mention PlayStation, Xbox, and I believe the sense he was trying to make is they're making all this news. And what is Nintendo doing to keep up? And it's like they don't have to. They're selling out. Mm-hmm. They can't keep Switches on shelves. They don't have to keep up. Like their work is done already. And I know that seems from a marketing sense, you may be like they're losing. From a sales sense, they are not. Like if they can't even make enough consoles to keep demand, then what's the point of even announcing more things right now? It's like we can't sell. We can't make enough as it is, right? So there's a part of me that thinks that. Also, and I think Kevin's better than this. I told him this. I'm like, come on, Kev. Like, he would have told me this. Nintendo launched mid-cycle. It's not, they're doing it now, you've got to respond. They responded 3 years ago when they released the Switch. That was their response. And now they have their hardware and they're moving forward. And I do think it's interesting that this urge, and I mean, I know we're putting Kevin on a skewer, and I don't mean to, Kev. Like, I love you, dude.
No,
we're not using him, but you asked the question, so we're using you as a foil.
I get it.
I think it's interesting he brings up Xbox and PlayStation because for the past 2 or 3 years, PlayStation and Xbox have had like 3 or 4 games that we've been looking forward to the entire time.
Yeah.
Like we waited forever on Ori, and The Last of Us was delayed twice. Like it's just like ghosts. Like it's not like they had 8 or 9 games for the next 18 months and they all hit and everything either. Like for this last 2 years of this console cycle, we've been tracking a handful of games on both of those party side. And ultimately, and this is what I told the Nintendo dads, ultimately what this is this is a byproduct of Nintendo really being awesome. Like, to be quite honest with you, Nintendo kind of spoiled people at the launch of the Switch, and they were equipped to do so because of the Wii U. They held back production of games on the Wii U, starting with Breath of the Wild, for like the last 2 years of that console. They didn't put anything out. It was just one, like, very minor software support for Wii U because they were holding it for Switch. And what that meant was when we got Switch, we had a steady flow of content for the first 2 years, just exclusive after exclusive after exclusive after exclusive.
Yeah.
And as I said, when we started this year, you guys were on the show with me. I've been saying this all year long. I feel like I'm really right on this. It's the only reason I bring it back up. This is kind of a reset year. They need to reset the pipeline. They got to get out some ports, get out a game or two, and get themselves to next year when their projects are ready. They can't be held to the
Wild, Metroid, all these big things.
They can't be held to the standard that they're going to put out 6, 8, 10 first-party games a year. That's not fair. They can't do it year after year after year. They've never done it year after year after year. There are always a year in every cycle. There's a year or two in every Nintendo hardware cycle where they build around one big game and maybe a port or two and some third party, and that gets them to the next cycle where they've got 4 or 5 big games. They got Animal Crossing at Paper Mario. They're going to throw a couple ports at us. Maybe a Pokemon game.
I still think we might not know about the big holiday game, but like it would be silly to think that there isn't going to be one.
Yeah, there's going to be one. And they probably don't know yet. With all the things that they've been going on for the last 3 months and the uncertain future for the next 3 months, they're probably not ready to date it yet. That's probably the biggest reason. They're not ready to date it. Same thing with Paper Mario. They're probably not ready to date it, and that's why we didn't know about it in March. They're waiting to be sure.
It's mid-June. We got a few months to figure out what the fall schedule is going to be like.
Now, on the Vagabond side, I mean, you might be right. Like, if none of these are doing it for you, then yeah, it might not be your year. That's the other part of it. And in Vagabond, I actually sympathize with you because, dude, I love Zelda game. If I could a Zelda game every year, I would be so happy. But
they pretty much told us that we're getting a Zelda game every year, though. Like, didn't they say that at one point? Like, that their goal was to have a Zelda game on the Nintendo Switch every single year. So, like, we probably still have a Zelda game. It might be a port. It might be a
2D Zelda would be
Cadence of Hyrule or something.
I still, like, there's still, if their goal is to do that and they haven't announced it yet, like, we'd still have that to look forward to.
Telling you, man, Hyrule Warriors 2, bring that bad boy.
Oh
Like,
my
I'd be
gosh.
so excited.
Guy.
But yes, I get it. I do understand that people want to know and they want all the things. Just show a little patience, just a little.
Mm-hmm.
I think in Kevin's size, he might say that he's been patient. Like, he's got one game this year, because he's not doing Xenoblade.
Yeah,
so
that's
like,
true.
there's a lot of games that have come out this year
Paper Mario.
that just don't, he
like,
doesn't care about.
I get it, Kevin. Like, I'm not probably going to get Paper Mario at launch, at least.
Oh, he's getting Paper Mario.
So he has more to look forward to than I do right now.
He's definitely getting Paper Mario. Like 100% Kevin's getting Paper Mario.
I do want to say to Kevin, like, I get it. I just don't think that we can, like, compare it to what Xbox and Sony are doing right now, because it's not the same. Like you were saying, we're not the same part of the cycle that they are.
And he knows this. Here's the thing, that because I've known Kevin so long, if I know if the shoe is on the other foot, I know he would say the same thing to me. Like, he would absolutely say this to me. He would go, Donnie, Nintendo doesn't care what Xbox and PlayStation is doing. And he's right. And they don't. Like, that's the other part of it. They don't care. Like, they don't conduct business that way.
Mm-hmm.
No,
it's something that Nintendo fans or followers tell other console gamers that they don't understand. Because in their world, it's us versus them. Xbox versus PlayStation, right? Like, it's that thing.
These graphics, all these next-gen hardware. Nintendo's sitting here saying, here's a little hand-drawn bunny where you can jump rope. They're okay with that.
Legit doesn't care. Like, it's hard to explain to them how much they really don't care. And if all it takes, so don't take my word for it, go find like an IGN, like go find somebody that worked at IGN or GameSpot and left. And they'll tell you. They'll be like, oh God, I talked to Nintendo, and it's like their head's in the clouds. they're like, so what do you think of next gen and teraflops? They're like, what?
What? What's a teraflop?
Yeah, I mean,
what do you mean power?
Yeah, it's like a culture. It's a vision that they have. The way that they operate. It's just, they're a toy company. I mean, that's the best way to explain it. They're just different.
They want people to have fun.
It's Disney. It's not Sony and it's not Microsoft. It's Disney.
Yeah, that's why I think you just can't compare it.
When you think of it on that terms, it's different. And let's say the Mario rumors I wouldn't say they're incorrect, because I don't think they are. Let's say they're not as grand as we expect them to be. Let's say it's just one of them, right? Let's say it's Sunshine Remake, right? And Mario 3D World.
I think that's safe. That's
okay. So you say it's those two games plus the Pikmin and the 25 games that I just told you about. We know Ubisoft will have a Switch something. I guarantee you there'll be something at the Ubisoft show that says Switch on it.
There's going to be a crap ton of Pokemon this year. Even if you don't like Pokemon, that's
throw in a Pokemon.
Close to first party.
EA has 2 or 3 other games. You got to think, some other publishers making at least one. We'll have a Capcom or something. Like, somebody's got something. And all of a sudden, we're going to get to November, and it'll be 6 or 7 games you're supposed to be buying. And everybody's going to be like, I don't have enough time to play all these games. And we'll be sitting there thinking about then. It's like, you remember a couple months ago when everybody was like, Nintendo's doomed. It's I don't know. It's something that I struggle with as a podcaster. Like, when I follow all of these announcements, and I probably buy and play more of them than most, and I get that. I get that makes me a little bit different, right? Like, if you're somebody that's just wanting the heavy hitters, you may be like, there's nothing to play, right? Whereas I'm like, you're going to play PGA Tour.
Deadly Premonition.
You got to get Deadly Premonition too. It's exclusive.
That's
exactly.
So weird to me still.
So I try to tell myself that when I get into this. But at the same time, as I say it, I feel like I say it often. It's like, you got to have a bigger look at these things. You got to think broader, not in a year, not in a window, not in a quarter. Think of it in 2 or 3 years. It takes 2, 3, most times 4 years to make a game. So if you think about it like that, and you apply the 4-year cycle to most games, and you start going through the list, and you go, okay, Breath of the Wild, Odyssey, Yoshi, Kirby game. It's like we have a Donkey Kong port. We know Metroid's in development. Like, you start running out of things. Like, well, what could they do? They're working on stuff. That's what they're doing. They're working. They're trying. It's not like they're not making games. They are. They're just not ready. It's just their pipeline's empty right now. That's why I was saying. And usually when their pipeline is empty, what do? Wind Waker HD, baby. Ocarina of Time HD. Like, that's what
They
this
could put
year
a
is.
flood in of virtual console games. I think everyone would be very happy.
Oh, we can't forget our inevitable Nintendo 64 update to the Switch Online this September.
100%. When they get these pipelines, they throw a port or two at you. They mix it around one game. They kind of space them out. We'll have a Smash announcement around there. Don't forget about that.
Yeah.
They'll throw some stuff in there,
Ticking in June for our ARMS character, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
so
true.
like there's things like that, and all of a sudden everybody will be right as rain. Now I do agree. Here's the thing. I think the frustration coming from Kevin and Vagabond isn't necessarily that there aren't things. It's that there aren't things that they want.
Bingo.
And that's the issue, and that's the frustration that some people have, and there's nothing I can do about that. I know Kevin's not as into the ports as I am. Like, I'm telling you, I can't be Pokemon Snap and Mario 64. I couldn't be like more excited for. I am so excited for these. He's not. He doesn't care.
Kevin, you're forgetting the most important game that's coming out this fall, releasing on Nintendo Switch.
Persona
Bravely,
Strikers.
that too. Bravely Default 2. All right.
Kevin hates all of those answers. Like, we just said Persona Strikers and Bravely Default. He's like, I'm
So
so
where's Nintendo? We got them JRPGs. We got you, fam. All right.
Not that this is really news for us, but Garrett, since I got you here and this is kind of your wheelhouse, I think this is something I wanted to bring up in the Discord and I just forgot. And then I wanted to bring it up on the show and I forgot. The PS5 was revealed.
Yes.
And everybody's very excited. Did you find it noticeable that there was a lack of JRPGs at that show?
Yeah, I guess so.
It was something that stuck out to me because Nintendo has like all the JRPGs. Like there's too many.
Seriously, the weirdest thing has happened. All the Vita, like JRPG, visual novel, like people and audience went to Switch. They all went to Switch. The YS8, like, I don't know, like all the random JRPGs are coming to Switch and Steam as well. It's more prominent in Steam. And so I think companies such as like Exceed, Falcom, Atlas, and Sega, like in the publishers there, I think they're understanding now. We got a lot more platforms than just the Sony platform. We got, this little handheld thing that can run our games just fine, and they could take it on the go. Plus, we got Steam, whereas like one of the biggest like player bases like ever. Mm-hmm. So I think
definitely
Sony,
the biggest. Yeah,
I know there was one. What was it? Square Enix like made exclusively, but it wasn't a JRPG. It was like some other random game. So I don't think Sony in that presentation was trying to jab at the JRPG audience. I think they know their JRPG audience, and they will probably go over to Japan first and serve that audience first.
They're probably not the most appealing or like showy games, to launch a console with. It's like,
That's
check out this top-down RPG, like it was just, I did notice it. I did, because I was watching, I was like, man, there are a lack of RPGs. And the only reason I think that is because I do think there's too many. Like Switch has too many RPGs now. Like if I see another party turn-based RPG, it's like, I'm going to lose it. It's like, I can't take any more of these games. And who knows, we're going to get that direct and it's like, Shin Megami Tensei 5. I'm like, oh no, it's too much. It's just something I picked up on, and I think that was.
I think it's a different audience than generally who's watching the presentation.
100%. They're there to see Spider-Man and Horizon. They want to see nothing about no Final Fantasy Chronicles.
Did I read that was the most watched live event
on YouTube?
It might have been. Was it live event or live gaming event?
It was live event. Gaming. I think it was live stream on YouTube.
Ooh,
I think it's what Kyle said.
So yeah, I feel like it's reaching a different audience than the general JRPG fans.
It's interesting. I my immediate reaction is I never want to take YouTube numbers and then make that stand as, see, we've measured it. These are all the people. Mm-hmm. Because it's like there's a lot more people than
yeah.
That's and I say that just to defend my own stance for E3, is that I feel like everybody for the longest time I've heard, just stream it on Twitch, and it's like there's a lot more people than people
way
watching
more
Twitch.
Like, way more.
It's more important to get outside of just that core gaming bubble that streams and watches streams and stuff on Twitch. There was years that went by I never even did anything on Twitch, and I never watched anything. Like there are people out there that don't. We forget.
I think it was like
sometimes.
2017 or something like that when I got into Twitch.
Not saying that it's wrong. I mean, it's
recent.
great that they have the highest rated ever, right?
Huge.
But I think it's interesting. I think it's a leap. I just say that to say this. I think it's a leap to go highest rated YouTube stream. Who needs E3? And it's like, well, are these the same thing? Like you're not counting all the other things that,
It's
this
different.
press event would actually reach. In addition, because the stream would still be there regardless. Like, the stream would be there, but you'd also have all these other different channels talking to that aren't. So I don't know. Just my own E3 axe to grind. I miss E3.
Yeah, what do you guys think about this spread,
It sucks.
general event? Yes, it really sucks. The
I don't
Guerrilla
know
Collective,
what's
PC
happening
Gaming Show.
and when it's happening. I'm relying on Twitter alerts to tell me when and where to find things. I found out there was an event, the PC Gamer Show, happened. I found out the day after.
Wow.
Oh God. I guess that was a thing.
And then Persona 4 Golden just came out on Steam randomly, and just like, what is this? So,
Oh man,
they're everywhere.
Hipster Pockby in the chat says, I only use Twitch to watch you guys.
Oh,
Wow, that's very
See?
nice of you.
But that's a thing. And I just forget about that. Because I mean, and I say this speaking for my own gamer friends, and I say it to make my own point, but they don't follow any of this news that I do. They look to me for that. They're like, hey, Donnie, tell me about that PlayStation 5. That's a part of it that I feel like E3 reaches those people, whereas a YouTube stream I don't think does. Because they're not that connected. Right.
Yeah.
But E3, you get that, what is it, that wrap up? Here are the 10 most important things that happen at E3. It's Assassin's Creed. and Call
E3
of Duty.
is so compact too. Like, we're able to take work off and time off to set a schedule to
because we know
absorb everything.
it'll all be there. Like we can all go get all of it there.
it's
all
a
in one
holiday.
place.
And
It's
now,
literally a 3-day holiday.
and
Christmas
now,
is
what is it?
canceled. Now we're all trying to figure out how to give gifts to each other without a holiday to tell us about it.
The Guerrilla Collective.
Now we're Kevin. It's like, where's Nintendo? The gamer society's just broken down. It's just post-apocalyptic now.
I imagine some of them are exciting games, but there's just not the hype around them that it was in E3. I
Yeah.
feel like a lot of smaller games would be showcased at the Coliseum per se, or just IGN or any impressions. Now that they're trying to do their own little events, I'm just not caring much anymore about what new indie games are popping up. I don't know.
That's been my platform since they canceled E3, and everybody told me it was great. I said it. I was like, look, man, I loved it's not just even that I liked it. That's not even the point I'm trying to make. I thought there was a service that publishers were providing to smaller devs by saying hey, here's the new Mario game, and by the way, here's Hollow Knight and here's Golf Story. The only reason I found those is because I was watching, because Zelda and Mario and that applies to everybody. They have a responsibility to shine a light on these partners that are supporting them. Nintendo, PlayStation, Xbox, everybody. And if they're all doing these little things and they're all scattered and it's not prepared like that, I feel like we're going to miss it.
That's
Because
true.
here's the problem. Every week, there are hundreds of games dropping. We can't play them all and we can't know them all. So it's on the publisher to curate the ones to make sure that we are aware of the ones that you really need to know.
Yeah.
The Wild at Heart and Tunic and what was it, Kenna, that was on the PlayStation
Kenna
show,
was so
and
cool,
Sports Story. They all have these standout titles that you need to know about and you should be following.
Yep.
And now it's taken a little work. Now you got to really dig in if you want to know them, or not that this is not bad. Just splendidly fall upon them. Just luck of the draw. Just this game is awesome. Sometimes that's
Got it
great
on
too.
a deal or something.
Yeah.
Or word of mouth. Yeah.
But I feel like you're gonna miss it. Because that's the other part, right? If it's not on the store page, if you're not checking the store that week, that's another part of it. They can feature it all you want. How many of you do you check the store every week?
No.
No, neither do I.
Yeah,
I usually
don't.
only check it when I want to go buy something.
Or deals.
So if I don't see it then, I won't see it. Somebody's got to tell me. And that's the whole point of video game marketing and advertising. It's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard to reach everybody.
It's such a saturated market now.
Yep.
They really got to shine a light on.
Especially for an indie game.
Yeah.
Especially for an indie game.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, so we'll hold the rest of the questions until next week. We hope you guys enjoyed this episode of the Nintendo Shack. Do you guys have anything you'd like to say before we go?
No, I
Pokemon
think-
Snap's a thing that exists.
Oh, it makes me so happy. I love you guys. That makes me so happy. This is like my first true like bolt of energy with this crew.
Damn.
Garrett,
It was a pleasant surprise.
I'm so excited.
I'll give you that.
I'm
I'll give
so
you that.
excited. I'm so excited.
I don't know if I told you my memory of Pokemon Snap, but
No.
it's not a good one. I mean, I understand. I think the game's pretty cool, and I understand the mechanics. But my friend played it all the time right in front of me and never got me the controller. So
Well,
was-
that's unfortunate.
yeah, he wasn't a friend much longer.
You know what I want now? I want a Pokemon Snap amiibo. I want the little cart and
Oh,
want
yeah.
like an apple.
Yeah.
Pokemon
How about, did you
Snap.
see the Pidgeot swooping down and getting the Magikarp out of the water? I
Pokemon
want
Snap
to do all
trainer
that.
for Smash.
Excuse me. He has a name. It's Todd Snap.
Todd
Todd
Snap.
That's
Good Lord.
That's his name in the first game. That's literally his name.
what do we call this guy?
Todd.
Snap. Let's go with the name.
That's awful. I never
him
knew
some
that.
respect.
I never knew that. Hopefully
He'll
they'll
be
let
his
us.
brother.
Hopefully they'll let us customize and name
Yeah,
our own.
I do want
trainer.
customization. I want to be myself in this game.
I showed Jack the picture of the trainer that they had like a picture of on the
Yeah.
website, and I was like, Jack, who is this? And he goes, it's just trainer.
It's Todd, guys.
Todd Snap. I'm gonna go tell Jack it's Todd Snap.
It's
like-
that's literally his name.
Sounds like a character from The Office or something. Just like a middle-aged paper salesman. Hello, I'm Todd Snap.
Bald.
Yeah, see, you can see it when you say the name Todd Snap. There's a vision.
Take some pictures of Pokemon.
we gotta get out of here. Good night, Koopalings.
Oh boy.